Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for April of 2026. You have this retirement card. It says, working hard can be a thing of the past. Love it. You have this destiny card. It says, you have a divine destiny to fulfill through your career path. Your work will help elevate the consciousness of the planet. Literally, your karma. That's like literally why Pisces is here, is to elevate the consciousness of the planet. So, I feel like this is very good. Pretty big month for you, Pisces. You know, Uranus at the end of the month on the 25th will move into Gemini, which basically forms a square to Pisces. And, I think in some ways, that Uranus and Gemini is getting a little bit of a bad rap because I really don't think it's going to be that negative. Uranus loves being in Gemini. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, so it loves being there. And even though it's forming a square, it's just going to lead to this right here, change in your life. So I feel it's going to lead to big changes, kind of like a new sense of freedom in your life, Pisces. Uranus is all about freedom and creating more freedom. So, anything you can do to set yourself free, which literally we see right here with the Four of Wands, is going to be very beneficial. But definitely a big change month for you, April. You have the Knight of Swords, the Five of Cups, and the Magician. I feel like this is definitely about not running away from something here, Pisces. Sorry, I was like a little bit of a wild man this morning. It's 8:35 right now. I was going to get started at 6:30, and I couldn't get my cameras working because of something over here. And it took me I had to tear everything up. So everything's in the wrong position. But anyway, not that you care. But anyway, I feel like you need to not run away from any opportunities that are coming in for you. Again, especially when he comes up in the first row here, he's pointing towards the past. And so he's like getting to the next card and he's running away. I do feel like a little bit of an overwhelm energy here, maybe at the beginning of the month, maybe even right now. Again, it's the 27th today. This will be published on March 28th, so right before the beginning of the month. And so even right now, might be overwhelmed with like too many moving parts is what I feel. It's like I think you have the big ideas, the adventure planned or like whatever you're doing, but the Two of Pentacles is like, okay, I see the vision, I see what I need to be able to do, but that's like, it's so much. I feel like that's how Pisces could be feeling at the beginning of the month. But luckily, you have that card that says working hard can be a thing of the past. And I've been talking to you for like a couple years now about how it's time for Pisces to make money, but I also think it's time for you to make it easily. And I think it hasn't been easy. That's what Pisces needs to realize. It's not like you're just it's not like you're just getting the rewards for doing nothing. I think this is like years of work catching up. It reminds me, I saw an article the other day about some stupid video game that made like $125 million, right? That some guy made all on his own, right? And I don't know, this is kind of popping into my head. It's like he worked on it for like 5 years, right? So it's like he had, and he was like working like all day, every day, 24/7 for that 5 years. That's what I'm meaning by you earned it. It's like he created something very, very simple that paid him $125 million, probably more now, right? But it's like he had to put in blood, sweat, and tears for those 5 years to make that happen. It's like that's what I think Pisces needs to realize is that for the past many years you've been putting in the blood, sweat, and tears. So it's not like it's easy, is what I'm trying to say, or it has been easy. And again, I think you just have to push through the overwhelm here. You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups can be like regrets or sadness. Five of Cups really is about needing to turn around and be grateful for what you do have in life. He's grieving the loss of something he once enjoyed, but there's something much, much better behind him that leads to this bridge in the castle. So, I kind of get this energy of like needing to not fight against things, don't fight changes that are happening at this time. Don't, it's like sometimes I think people resist change just in general. It's like they resist the things. It's like I heard another story the other day about how Sears, the company, could have been Amazon, right? But they resisted the internet, for example, right? And it's like that's what I'm getting here for you. Is it's like saying, don't resist the changes that are happening, or don't be a Luddite, basically here, Pisces. You have, not that you would be, but I'm just saying. You have the Magician. You have the power to make these changes happen. The Magician, of course, is about manifesting. It's also about becoming a completely different person, which you definitely are, Pisces, with Uranus and Gemini. I think we're going to see a whole new side to Pisces. Again, as I've been saying, like, yeah, Gemini is your fourth house, which is like home and family, but it's also the root of your chart. It is like what kind of stabilizes or secures your chart in place. And so I feel a lot of you could be experiencing some personal changes, or you could be changing how you present yourself to the world. You could be changing your appearance. You could be changing, especially right now. But I think over the next, few months, or, really the rest of the year. And again, this is going to be a good thing for you. This is a card of reinvention. It's like and you have two cards technically. You have the Magician and the Chariot. The Magician, he knows that he has to move differently to match the energy of the person that he wants to become. He knows he has to change. Chariot, kind of the same. He's leaving that city behind him behind. He knows he has to leave the familiar to become something new, to become something different. With the Knight of Swords, yes, you will regret not charging forward through like a new opportunity or charging towards something. So again, no running back to the past, to your Pisces, or your old self. It's all about moving forward for sure. With the Five of Cups, you have the Four of Wands. Yes, all about freedom. I knew your reading was going to be all about freedom. Again, when Uranus moves into your fourth, especially, it's going to be, really extra strong on the freedom side of things. So it is a great month and a great time, as I've been saying to you all year, for love, Pisces, if you put yourself out there. But it's also just a great time, once we get to the 25th and beyond. But even I would start now. Anything that's keeping you stuck, can you set yourself free from it? Can you develop a new daily routine that makes you more free, right? I would be thinking about all that. Really, this is the card of freedom, the Four of Wands. You have to finish one thing, cross through this finish line, and celebrate on the other side. So, there could be a new levels of freedom coming in for you. With the Magician, you have the Justice card. Yeah, Justice is like cause and effect. I would definitely be paying attention to results, Pisces. I think it's like Pisces' life is what guides them, which is kind of like a hard thing to describe, but it's like, really, I think if Pisces pays attention to what's working, what's not working, and doubles down on what's working, then their life typically works, right? It's only when we ignore things that, life doesn't work. So I feel this is about paying attention to the two sides. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this leadership card and this flexibility card. Yes, amazing time for you to take the lead on and take control of anything that you're working on. Of course, being flexible, which I don't really feel Pisces has a hard time with in the first place. You're a mutable sign, so not really a problem. But, of course, being flexible is going to be the best thing for you moving forward. If one way to do something doesn't work, try something else. Be flexible in the information you receive, the things that you learn, the directions that you move in, all that. You have the Two of Pentacles, the Fool, and the Chariot. Two of Pentacles is like work hard, play hard, which I think is going to be important. But I think this is the overwhelm, Pisces. It's like I think you, like I said, I think you see the vision of where you want your life to be. But I also feel there's a lot of things to take care of, a lot of things to get done, and a lot of things to finish up, and all that other stuff. And again, I really think one bite at a time. As I say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? And so you might have a little bit of an elephant in your life, but I think if you just kind of take it step by step here, that you'll be done a lot faster than you think. The thinking is definitely worse than the doing, for sure, Pisces. I think the thinking about the things you have to do is much, much worse than just doing one thing at a time, right? And I think you'll feel so much progress. I just think you'll feel a lot of progress just getting it done and taking care of things. On the other hand, I do feel like you are taking care of things. So, I don't feel too bad about this. Even me, I've been ignoring my check engine light for a couple weeks in my car because I really don't want to have to take it in, right? But last night, I scheduled my appointment, right? So, again, I think a lot of you could be, taking more responsibility over things. I'm actually getting a lot on this card as well, Pisces. I also do think there's something you shouldn't ignore. We have these waves behind him. They start off small and they get bigger as they go across the card on the Two of Pentacles. And so sometimes I think the Two of Pentacles is something that is on our mind that we are paying attention to that's getting bigger over time. And this could be a good thing, not like a check engine light in your car if you're like me. But, again, I think there could be something that is growing in your mind, something that you want to be working on or doing. I say that because we have the Nine of Pentacles here at the end, and I definitely wouldn't ignore whatever it is. You have the Fool, definitely a good new beginning month. I mean, April is kind of the start of the year for you now, for sure. We're finally past your retrograde that we just had in Pisces, past that new moon that we just had in Pisces, finally getting going in April. Really, we're in the shadow for like the first week and a half or so of April of Mercury retrograde. But I don't worry too much about shadow periods, and it gets weaker and weaker as it goes along. So, I think you're just ready for a new beginning or ready to take a leap of faith. I do feel like you are going to be making a lot of changes. I wouldn't worry too much about what family says to you starting this month, basically. The thing about having Uranus in your fourth is that, your family could be telling you that the things you're doing in life are chaotic. And, in all fairness, when Uranus is in our fourth, the changes that we're making can definitely look chaotic to people on the outside, right? But we just have to ignore that and not pay too much attention to what other people are saying. We just have to go through the changes, right? You have the Chariot. Again, fourth house Uranus definitely can cause a move in the future. You don't have to necessarily do it right now. And again, you don't even have to move. It's not like this energy says, Pisces is absolutely going to be moving. It's just something you could do. The other thing you could be doing is like changing up your environment, just, moving things around in your home, making your home feel more free, or making your home feel more like a home for you, Pisces. Pisces typically lives in a nest. So, it's like you might be creating more of a nest for yourself in your home, which wouldn't really surprise me here, Pisces. And the other thing is again, freedom. It's like, a great example is like thinking about the car. It's like if I didn't take care of that and a problem happened, then I wouldn't be free, right? Because if my car breaks down or something, then I'm going to be stuck and I'm going to have to wait for it to get fixed and all this other stuff, right? So that's how you also have to think about freedom. There might be annoying things that you don't want to do. It's like, I don't know, just like, doing stuff like that, just, I don't know. There's something wrong with my brain. It just like takes up 3 hours. I don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? But it's like, really, it's like, that's much, much better than not having a car and having to get Ubers everywhere for like 2 weeks if something happens, right? So it's like sometimes we have to take responsibility and do things that we don't necessarily want to do, that we just want to ignore. And I think if you're like me, if you're like a typical Pisces that just says, I'll just ignore this and it'll go away, right? If you're like me, then that's what we need to not do moving forward for years, right? The Chariot is also a victory, so could be a big victory in setting yourself apart. Again, as I've said to you for a couple years now, you're like finally getting into a time where you can receive recognition for the work that you're doing by being different. Uranus and Gemini wants us to be different, for sure. So, again, I think you're going to start feeling appreciated for, your different take on things, your unique approach to things, which is great. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Death card. Again, big changes this month. Again, I also see Uranus moving into Gemini as like the final major big-ass planet that is changing signs. It's crazy to me that we've had all these major planets, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, now Uranus, changing signs within a year of each other, right? Which is a very short period of time when we're talking about space, right? And so this like never happens. It won't happen for a long time where all these planets will be changing at the same time. So Uranus is kind of like capping it off. It's like ending that period of time. And so it is going to be a big change for basically everyone. With the Fool, you have the Ten of Cups. Yes, love looks amazing for you this month, for sure. So, but you're going to have to, like, go and get it with the Ten of Cups energy. I'll tell you what the problem is as well for you, Pisces. It's the Aries energy. It's Neptune and Saturn and Aries. The problem with Neptune and Saturn and Aries, it's like we have to go and get it, And so we can't just, like, hope that it's going to show up. We can't just hope that someone is going to like approach us on the street or something like that. And so I think it requires like a little bit more effort on Pisces' part, but it will be worth it. So I'll say that. Ten of Cups is also like fortune after difficulty. So it could just be, I had a feeling that April would be a good month, and it definitely looks like just a good month. Yes, with the Chariot, you have the Fool. Time to charge forward, Pisces. Time to take that leap of faith towards your, like, whatever you're trying to accomplish at this time. I think, like I said, I think you have all the ideas. I think it's just all the moving parts that is overwhelming you right now, probably today. You're probably feeling this right now, Pisces, if you think about it. So, again, I think it's just time to, like, take that first step. Plain and simple. Next, in the area of what's coming in, or messages from your future self, you have this Lone Wolf card. It says, listen to your inner wolf and embrace your sacred wild nature that thirsts for freedom. Can't make it up. You have this dream catcher. It says, pay attention to the signs, messages, and guidance that come to you at night. Yes, definitely. I would be paying attention to your dreams, your daydreams, all that stuff. I do feel like you're going to be like a little bit of a lone wolf moving forward. That doesn't mean you're going to be alone. I actually feel you have probably more support than ever with the Ten of Cups. And so, again, there could still be a lot of support for you. Really wouldn't surprise me if you were going to be attracting more kind of like eccentric people into your life over the coming years, not just in love, but I'm talking about, all your connections. It wouldn't surprise me if you do attract more people who kind of like live life on their own terms. They might be lone wolves as well that you're attracting, but, again, it could feel very supportive. You have the Seven of Swords, the Four of Wands, and the Hierophant. Everybody's going to get this card for the next, until 2033 when Uranus leaves Gemini. To me, this is a very Uranus and Gemini card, the Seven of Swords. He is stealing those swords from this army in the background, and so he's avoiding war. He's finding a better way to do something, basically. Probably the best thing we can do with Uranus and Gemini is I don't think we should be going straight at something like a goal or something we're trying to accomplish. We should be finding ways to get like around it, to get to it from a different perspective or from our own unique perspective, right? And if we do that, we will really stand out. So it's a time where we have to do things to stand out. The other thing is that he has these polka dots on his cloak. Polka dots in the tarot can represent taking things too seriously, and needing to be more playful. And so I do feel like you have the Fool twice, Ten of Cups, like all this stuff is basically saying a more playful approach at this time will be very good for you. The other thing I would say is that, sometimes I feel with the Seven of Swords, it's like he's almost like too close to the problem, and he's carrying those seven swords, but he's not looking down. Sorry, the lighting is glaring off the card, but he's not looking down like where his feet are going. And so sometimes I feel with the Seven of Swords, it says, like, really double check things right now, even though we're after the retrograde. Again, we're after the retrograde, and it took me 2 hours basically to get my cameras working. So, you know what I mean? I would like check the small details this month. You have the Four Wands. Again, excellent love month for you. So if you're attracting love, could be a person for sure that you marry in the future. I feel like you need to think about all the things you've done in the past and don't do it with the new person, right? All the overgiving, all the caring too much, all the whatever it is, the mistakes you've made, right? And again, mistakes aren't bad. And of course, we'll always make mistakes. But, I feel like this is saying, like, don't do what you did the last 10 times and you'll be fine in a new connection. The Four Wands, of course, like I said, does not surprise me that you would have 1,000 freedom cards in your reading, because that's literally what this month is about for you, Pisces, is like setting yourself free from anything that has been draining you, keeping you down, all that. You have the Hierophant. We have the Hierophant and the High Priestess, which are divine counterparts. I do love these two together because they're like better than the Emperor and the Empress. They represent, a spiritual connection. So it could be a very spiritual connection coming in for you. The Hierophant can also be blessings. He is blessing these two people in front of him here. So could be blessings. Pisces, also make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Magician again. So you have a bunch of repeating cards here, which is good. Repeating cards are the universe basically saying, I meant what I said. So, could be a really good energy. He's also pointing to the Nine of Pentacles. She is the card of independence and being independent. Again, you are not going to be successful being like everyone else, is basically what the reading is saying. That's what Uranus and Gemini says as well. He has to become his own independent self. He represents reinvention. He turns himself into the person or the thing that he wants to be before he has it. And I feel that is like a big theme here in this reading. Here you go. With the Hierophant, you have with the Four Wands, you have the Hierophant. So marriage, like 3 times here. Definitely could be meeting a solid person. The thing about the Hierophant as well is that these two people, they're not the same, but they are on a similar path, right? So you could be attracting a person who's like not exactly like you, but they could be similar, or they could have, a similar spiritual journey, or you could feel like you're both, aligned on the same path. So that's nice. With the Hierophant, you have the Devil. Yeah, I would avoid any past devils. And literally, like I said, I would avoid past bad behavior like overgiving, looking over things, overlooking things that you should talk about, or, any of those things, right? I would avoid that at all cost as well. Could be attracting an earth sign as well, Pisces. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this change card. That's the whole point of this month for you. Change or movement in your life, new directions, relocation, progress, change of view, job, partner, or heart. You have this official person. It says person in uniform, dominant, battle, official work, rules, regulations, obligations, responsibilities, and control. That's definitely what you're dealing with, for sure. It's coming up in the good stuff, so I feel it is saying, like, you are being responsible. You are changing things and taking control. So maybe you're becoming an official person here, but definitely a lot of changes. You have the Nine of Pentacles, the Moon, and the High Priestess. All about you, right? The Moon and High Priestess are your cards. And you have the Nine of Pentacles, which says, be your independent self. Now, she's also the card of gratitude and luxuries, so could be creating a lot of abundance this month. But she has 6 pentacles over here, 3 over here. This is where your abundance is going to come from, is giving more to yourself, right? She's willing to give 3 pentacles to any situation that enters into her life. And those pentacles could be anything. It doesn't have to be money. It could be time, effort, attention, energy, whatever. But she's keeping more than enough for herself. You have the Moon. The Moon is you, Pisces. Can also represent clarity in the good stuff. So the Moon in the good stuff can say you're entering into a time of clarity, or you're getting out of a moon period. I definitely feel this for Pisces, that, April could be much, much more clear than, a lot more clarity than you've experienced in a long time. So, a lot of you could be feeling very much more clear on your path, your journey, what you're meant to be doing, all that. And I would just stick to the plan is what I feel like saying. You have the High Priestess. Again, could be you showing up in a strong position. You have that Dream card, so it could be a very intuitive month for you, and I would definitely be trusting any downloads or dreams that you're having at this time. The High Priestess also wants you to exceed your potential. She has no roof over her head, so she can accomplish a lot more than she thinks, but she has to go and do it. And again, the Knight of Swords kind of says, he's running away from his potential is what I feel. So I feel like it's saying, follow through on something that you're thinking about building or creating this month, because you'll be happy you did. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Two of Swords. Again, more clarity in the good stuff. Two of Swords, she's thinking this or that, but in the good stuff, it can say you're finding better solutions. Which is kind of like the Seven of Swords as well. She needs to realize there's another way that she can live her life over here. And definitely, this is the month where this is going to start for you, Pisces. I don't think you're going to finish it this month. I think it's going to be a process for years. But, a lot of you are definitely going to end this Uranus and Gemini cycle, in 2033 in a completely different position than you are right now. So, again, I think you're discovering new ways of living, really. With the Moon, you have the Nine of Pentacles again. Yes, this is turning into a Cancer reading. Cancer always gets repeating cards for whatever reason. And now you are in this reading. I don't think this has happened to you in a long time. So, basically the universe saying I meant what I said. I really like readings that have a lot of repeating cards, because, it says that you don't, it's basically saying there's not a lot for you to work on. If we had all different cards, that would be a bunch of different things, different energies that you would have to work on. But, this is basically saying the theme is clear. It's all about you this month for sure. And I also think it's about you kind of transforming into something, who you really want to be. And again, this transformation can take a month, or it could take years. I think the choice is yours. The more you believe that you are this thing with this and the Magician, I think the faster it'll happen. With the High Priestess, you have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles can definitely be a new person, and I said Earth, so it wouldn't surprise me if you were attracting an Earth sign into your life. Page of Pentacles can also be good news coming in for you, and so if you've been waiting for news, then there could be good news, or news in general coming in. You have this flute. It says disappointment in a friend or a lover. Again, classic Uranus and Gemini in the 4th house. Again, it's not really disappointment. I just think that, you just might notice things about certain people. You might notice that they're not stable or as stable as you thought they were. You might notice that you're just not aligned with them anymore. It's all that could be happening. You have this whale. Yes, Pisces, don't be a whale. It says, great worry over nothing. Again, us Pisces, we worry, right? We are worriers. So I think this is saying, make sure to get control over that worrying energy and don't worry about things you can't control. You have this chain card. It says chain of events that will affect your life. Yes, everything is connecting for you, Pisces. I think I said this in one of your last readings. It is a time of you kind of connecting all the lessons that you've been through, and now you're probably applying those things to something new. You have this bread card. It says period of prosperity and abundance. Love it, Pisces. Definitely a very abundant time, or you could be doing things to create a lot of abundance because, again, freedom. Part of freedom is financial freedom, right? So, I think a lot of you are thinking and doing things that could make you more financially free, which is great. You have this eagle. It says triumph over obstacles, which is also great. Definitely a very good month for you, Pisces, I think. I feel that, obviously you're going to have to put the work in. Nothing's going to magically happen, but you could be overcoming some obstacles as well. But this looks really good, Pisces. I love it. So pretty simple. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your month.